Hi, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we'll be showing you how to make loop lacing bar for corsets. So let's get right into the video. Okay, you're welcome back to class. In this class, we'll be making a lacing bar. The lacing bar will take in the loop style or version. So what you will need your fabric for the loops, and then you need Regiline Boning. So you need Regiline, but just cut the length you want, then you straighten it with your iron. And the iron, make sure it's not dry iron, you're using a steam iron. Make sure you're using a steam iron. So when you apply your steam, you tend to, because it was, let's say it was like this, and you place your iron on the concave side, right? As you're placing your steam, it straightens, and then you can still use your hand to still start bending. Even you can see that even if I keep bending this like this, it might actually end up straightening out, but it's easier with your steam. You can see straightening out now. It's easier with your steam iron. Just bend it on the opposite direction to the curve. You can see you're having a straight Regiline bone like this. So you can just bend, because it's flexible and it's bendable. So once you have the length you want, then you cut it out. So I have my Regiline bones. Now to cut the fabric, I have to cut the fabric. So when cutting the fabric, I bring my ruler. So I'll be turning to the wrong side of the fabric. I'm using satin. Satin are kind of very easy to actually work with when making loops. It doesn't matter the type of fabric you're using or that you're making, the type of fabric you're using for the main garment. Using a satin loop, it's actually kind of the best, gives you the best result. So I'm trying to just get there. Don't cut straight, please. Don't cut straight. I'll be using an inch, a 1 inch. So don't cut straight. I'm going to cut straight and make it, then you see the difference between cutting straight and cutting on a bias. So what you'll be doing mostly is that you cut on bias, right? You make sure that you cut on bias. So you cut on bias. So I'll be cutting on bias. Bias means that you're cutting it diagonally across the fabric grain. Right, so I've made my center mark, then I'll just measure 1 inch from there. So you can measure as much as possible until you get or the pieces or the number of pieces that you want. So if I'm making multiple loops, I'll suggest you just cut plenty, right? There's no harm in having excesses. So satin, the best, will give you the best results. So I'll just go ahead and just mark and cut. I'll just mark and cut on bias, please. Make sure you're doing on bias. So I'll just make a sample of the one I will do on the straight grain, and you'll see the difference. So let me just cut these two out. So I have some pieces here cut out. So what I will do now is that I'll be folding, this is the wrong side, so I'll be folding into two like this. I'll fold into two like this, then I will stitch just 1/4 of an inch. It's not up to, because you know folding need to give me half of an inch, right? So I will just stitch quarter of an inch. I will stitch quarter of an inch. That means I'll be sewing half of this, because you want your loops to be kind of very, very, very tiny. So this is quarter of an inch. This is quarter of an inch. Can you see? From here to here, that's quarter of an inch. That's what I'll be stitching. So like, you know, I add 1 inch, folding into 2. This gives me half inch, right? So I'll now sew half of it like that. So I've sewn it, and let me just take one and turn it. So to turn this, okay, so I'm gonna go in. I've sewn all this, so let me just pick one and turn to show you how to turn it. I'll cut the rough edge. So let me just come this way. Can you see now? So here I will just come and snip. Don't make it too thick. Can you see? Make sure it's more than ½ inch from the edge. So I'll snip this open. Then I'll take my bobbin pin, this pin here. So this is what I'll do. I'll pick, this is the long edge, the shorter edge will be down, and I'll put it inside. Can you see? Now I'm going to put both edges on the inside of the loop. I hope you can see now, both now entering. Can you see? So that it can be drawing this part inside. So I'll push it inside until all these parts has gone inside. You see, it's pretty easy. Can you see? So I'll start drawing it. Push and draw. Yeah, it's drawing now. Push and draw. As you're pushing, you'll be drawing it. So you push, you draw. It's quite easy. Why? Because your fabric was cut on bias, right? So the pin slides inside easily. The one that didn't cut on bias, I should actually show you when I was actually doing it. It wasn't that easy. So can you see? As you're pushing, you're drawing, and this is the last face. You just pull out. Can you see now? So you have your loop. So I'll just continue, and I'll just just cut that off and remove your pin from it. So I have my loop here, so I'll just go for another one and another one and another one until I'm done. So we are here. So I've turned everything. So if you like, you can iron and make sure that the seam aligns maybe on one side, because you will see that it's twisting and turning. So just make sure that the seam, that side that you see is adjusted to one side of the loop. So now let's say this is my my Regiline Boning for both sides of the what's it called, of the corset. So I love making this. You can make it in any length you want, so you can always cut the excess off whatever. So I'm going to be marking my boning So the first thing I will do is that I will mark 1/2 inch away from the edge. So I'll mark 1/2 inch away from the edge. Then from there I'll mark 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. 1 inch is easier to mark. Just put in your dots on those inch marks. So I guess I'll just stop at 7. Let me see how far it can go. 9. Yeah, because I want to have excess on the downside as well. So I'll mark the other one as well. So I've marked this as well. Now for my loop, I will just start from each side. Now determine what if you want this to the inside, as in the seam. So I want my own seam to be on the inside, as in facing like this. So we'll just start on that mark, right, and you will loop, right. This place you might not need to just put any loop there because you cut it off anyway. So you can start your loop, then you take to the machine and do what, and you stitch it down. Can you see? So I'll just go like that. Can you see? Depends on the space that you want in between, right? So that is one. So another way of doing this is I'll just mark 1/2 inch to the edge like I've done before, then 1 inch, then another 1/2 inch distance, then 1 inch, and another 1/2 inch distance, then 1 inch, another 1/2 inch distance, then 1 inch, another 1/2 inch distance, then 1 inch. So let me just stop there. So in this case it makes the loop come closer. So if you are starting, like, you put your loop here, right, and on the loop as well, so as for you to know the, how will I put it, the space, so that it can be equal. Yeah, right. You can mark it and measure. You can mark it and measure. So I'll just do the first loop. So let me see how many do I want to, how much loop rope do I want to leave to make the turning. So I will mark. So I will just mark this with my chalk here. Right, so I'll mark this with my chalk. This is for the first one. This is my main loop, and this is the distance between the one I will twist and measure it. So I will have my main loop to be just it's not to 2 inches, 1/3, 1/3. Then my semi loop or whatever, I can point that one to 1 inch. I can pin it down to 1 inch. So I'll be having another 1/3, then 1 inch on my rope. I'm marking my rope now. Then another 1/3, so that all my loops can be equal. Then 1 inch for the outside loop, another 1/3, then 1 inch. I will show you now. Another 1/3. So let me just put that way. So now what I will do now is that this is the first one. So I think I will just need to, yeah, this is the first one because I want that chalk mark to show. So this is the first one. I will make sure it aligns when I'm sewing it, right? And this is my main loop. Can you see? It must enter and be equal to the edge of mine. So let's say I'm on my sewing machine and I'm stitching, then I will just come again and I will loop this one too must be equal. Can you see? By the time I'm done, here's my main. Yeah, this is my main, must be equal to the edge. Can you see? This is my other chalk mark. Can you see that these two loops are equal now? So these two loops are equal. So this one is shifting inward. So that's why as you are looping, you are stitching. So I'll just go ahead and stitch. Okay, so here we have our bar. So if you use this method to actually make your lacing bar, it makes your bar to be sturdy, as in strong. So no matter the amount of pulling, when pulling the corset, it stays like that. You're still going to sew it maybe when you are inserting it in the dress. So let's say this is our finished corset, right side, and this will be the lining for that, as in the back of our corset. So what you just need to do is that just put your bar like this. Just put your bar like this, and put your put your lining on top of it like that, and just go ahead and stitch. Or you can stitch first, so that you can stitch on the on the main corset body. You can stitch on it like this, then now put your lining and turn it so that you can follow the stitch of the one at the back. So if that way you want to do it, either you stitch this to the main corset body first, or you stitch it with the lining together. So that's just how to get your bar. So by the time you're done stitching, you will get something. Let me just say you're done stitching like this. Let's say you're done stitching like this. So you'll be getting something like this at the end of the day. So let's say you're done stitching, so this is exactly what you will get. Now depends on how small you want this or how big you want it. You can determine that while stitching it. So you stitch on, right? So once you are done, you turn your, so that the head here, because of the boning, is becomes very sturdy. So when we get to the main corset class proper, and we show you how to apply it, so you will get to see how it's done, right? Because you need structure at the back and at the front of any corset that you're making. So guys, this is your lacing bar.